Hello everyone, and welcome back to WordPress for Designers Day 3. Um, Today we are going to dive into building a blank WordPress theme that we discussed in Day 2, and we are just going to start completely from scratch, mainly with our style sheet and our index.php file will be the only two files that we'll really mess with today. And we're going to learn just how to create a WordPress theme from nothing. And we're also going to go over, which will be incorporated into our theme, but WordPress template tags and what WordPress template tags are and how we're going to use them for our theme. So with that said, go ahead and fire up your local server. For me it's MAMP or MAMP, but whatever one you're working on is fine. And we will navigate over to Firefox, and we'll get off of the Nicktoons fan site just for the screencast. I have some work to do later, and so I'll probably go back to it. But okay, so now we're on the on our WordPress theme that we've been working with so far, and let's go ahead and go to Site Admin. And you'll remember that we went into Appearance Editor. Now, if we go into here and we start to make our own theme, it's almost overwhelming how many theme files there are, and to really know which one to edit or clear out first and where to get started. So instead of even messing with any of these theme files, we are going to create our own theme completely from scratch, and we're going to start with the style sheet for that, which we'll get to in just a second. But one thing I want to point out as we get started here is if we go into Appearance and then Themes, when we scroll down, we'll notice that the themes have a link in their name and a screenshot here, and then some tags and a description of the theme. And our first step into setting up our theme is to get that information set up. So with all of that said, let's start from scratch, and we'll take it real slowly here, and let's start creating our new WordPress theme. We'll open up Coda, and keep in mind for now we're not going to worry at all about how the theme looks or really any of the design elements of anything like that until we get a lot further into this. So we'll go to the WordPress folder, and remember we'll go to WP Content and then to Themes to get into our main theme folder. And you can see there are two themes that we have there by default. Let's just go ahead and create a new directory. Let's create a new folder, and let's call it whatever we want to call it. We'll call it WordPress Forest, all one word. Okay, so now that we have our new theme directory, we will come in here and create a new file, call it style.css, and we'll drag this to the WordPress Forest folder. Okay, so now we have our WordPress Forest folder and a style.css page. What we need to do now is open up our style.css, and we need a way to tell WordPress what our theme name is and our description of our theme and the tags and a little bit more about our theme. So first we'll do some comments in our style sheet, and I'm sure you all know how to do comments in CSS files. And it's very important that you type this next part as you're about to see it, so WordPress can get all the correct information from your style.css file. So the first thing we'll do is we'll type theme name, colon, and we'll just call this WordPress Forest, which is kind of what I've been calling these test themes we've been doing. And the next thing we'll type in theme, capital URI, colon, and we'll just say http blog.themeforest.net. And now we'll go ahead and do our theme's description. And this is where we'll sort of just describe just a quick 1 or 2 sentences what our theme is. And we'll say a sample WordPress theme for themeforest.net. Sounds good to me. Version of our theme, what version our theme currently is. We'll type Actually, we're 4.0. We're way too cool for 1.0. So we're going to go 4.0 for now. Just that seems to be the thing to do. Author is going to just use my name. It's pretty self-explanatory. And you'll do the author, capital URI, and I'll just put one of my websites here. And lastly, we have tags. And tags are just kind of keyword descriptions of your theme in case you plan on sharing and submitting a free theme to the WordPress theme directory. So, ours is boring, dull, void of life. I think that describes the theme that we have going on so far right now pretty well. But hopefully we can get in there later and change those. Okay, so we will save our style.css. And now what we will do is we will navigate over to Firefox. We'll click Appearance, Themes. Okay, now we don't see our theme yet, and if we scroll down you see broken themes. The following themes are installed but complete. Theme must have a style sheet and a template. Well, we're missing a template. In other words, we're missing at least one file. In this case, our index.php file. So before we can activate our new theme, we need to make an index file. So we'll come over to our WordPress forest folder, our theme folder, and we'll go ahead and make a new file, and we'll name that index.php. Okay, we'll go ahead and open up index.php, and I have a pre-made template I'll just open up here, an HTML kind of template, so I don't have to type all the boring stuff in. I think that's it. Okay, I'll just copy this. I'll paste it into index.php, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all the styles, the reset here, and we won't be using any jQuery yet, so we'll get rid of that. And we don't really need any of these meta tags except for the content type, so we'll get rid of that. And we'll change our title here to WordPress Forest for now, but we're going to come back to the title tag very soon and see how we can change that. And we don't really need this div ID of wrap as we don't have any content to really display yet with our new theme. So let's go ahead and save our index.php file just as is. It's super simple, HTML or PHP file, but just basic HTML in it so far. Let's navigate back over to Firefox and let's refresh our themes page. Okay, now there's WordPress Forest, a sample WordPress theme for themeforest.net. Boring, dull, and void of life. That would sound right, but there's no screenshot here. So how do we get the screenshot to show up for our theme? Well, I'll go ahead and minimize Firefox and minimize Coda here, and I have a pre-made screenshot that I'm going to use, but all you need is an image that's about 300 by 225 pixels. And we will go to, I'll go to my local server here, which is MAMP, htdocs, WordPress, WordPress content. I could have done this in Coda as well. I'm just, showing you guys an option, a different way to do this. Themes, WordPress Forest, and then in the root WordPress Forest, our theme folder, we will just drag our screenshot.jpg into that folder. So now that we've done that, I can go ahead and refresh it again, and we can see that our image has showed up now for our theme. And usually you take a screenshot of your theme, but I thought that Doug Yancey Funny was a much better call in this situation. So that now that we have our main theme showing up here under the appearance and themes, we can go ahead and click on it, and we will see that the preview here, but obviously we don't have anything to really preview yet, so we'll click Activate WordPress Forest. Okay, well our new theme is activated, and we can visit site. Okay, now it's completely blank, but you can remember that we had the title of WordPress Forest, which is showing up exactly as it should. So now here's where we're going to go ahead and get into WordPress template tags and what they are and how we're going to use them. And a WordPress template tag is really nothing more than just a PHP function. And they're pre-made PHP functions that WordPress has created for us to use, and we can pass these functions different parameters and in order to pull out the content and information from our theme and from WordPress that we need. So what does that mean? Well, the easiest way to really understand what a template tag looks like and how it works is to just go ahead and do one. So we'll get rid of our title, and because we know that our header is going to be, or because we know our title is going to be displayed on every page, we don't really want to just have a really static one in there. We want to use a WordPress template tag to display our title. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to type PHP blog info, and we'll go ahead and save it as it is right now, and we'll see what happens. Okay, well, nothing's changed. Well, we've set up the template tag, but we haven't passed it any parameters yet. And we passed the parameters right in between the parentheses that you see here with some quotes. So now we'll do PHP blog info, and we'll do name for our blog name. We'll save this, and we'll see what it does. Okay, well, it's still showing WordPress Forest, but it's actually doing something differently here. And if we go to WP admin and we scroll down to settings and click general, okay, you can see our blog title is WordPress Forest. So to demonstrate what that template tag is doing more, I'm going to change this for a second and call it testing WordPress Forest. Click Save Changes. Okay, let's visit our site again. Okay, now you can see it's showing up as testing WordPress Forest. Now we haven't changed anything here, but since we now have a WordPress template tag in here, it's saying grab the name of the blog and display it in between the title tags. So we're using the blog info template tag, and we're passing it the parameter of name. And that is how we get our blog name to show up between our title tags. So that should give you your first real dose of a WordPress template tag, and we are going to use these all the time from now on, and they're going to be a huge help to us when developing our theme, and they're just pretty much vital parts of our theme. So if we go back, we can see that the title tag is now being pulled from the WordPress template tag blog info name. What are a few other things that we can do with what we have so far and WordPress template tags? Well, we haven't even linked to our style sheet yet. The normal way we would do this is to give it a link rel of style sheet, and then give it an href of what path it's at, and that would be, if we remember, WP content themes WordPress Forest style.css. The type would be text/CSS, and the media would be screen. That's the regular way of doing it, and that will work. If we pull it up here in Firebug, let's go ahead and add a style to our style sheet so we can be sure that it's showing up. Whoops. And we won't even fill anything. We'll just give it an ID of wrap. Go back to Firefox and refresh here. Okay, now we can see that wrap is showing up in Firebug, so our CSS file is getting linked to, but it's kind of a pain to keep track of and change these relative paths, and we can really accomplish this a lot easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all that. And inside the href tag, we're going to put PHP. We're going to use blog info again, but this time with the parameter of style sheet URL. Okay, and let's go ahead and save that and refresh. Open up Firebug again. Okay, and we can see our style sheet is still showing up. So instead of having to remember all of our paths and what directory everything is in, all we used was the WordPress template tag blog info, and one of the parameters that we can pass to that is our style sheet URL, which grabs the URL of our style.css file. So you can start to see the dynamicism that WordPress is bringing in and giving us the power to really be flexible with our theme. Let's move on and let's keep adding some template tags here. Well, what about these tags right here, the language tags and the XML tags? Let's go ahead and get rid of that. And instead, we can just use PHP, and then we'll do language attributes just like so. And we'll save it again. And now if we refresh the page again and we come into HTML, we can see that the first line right here has been filled in for us by WordPress. It's given it a language of English, direction of left to right, and so we've used another template tag to do that for us. Let's go ahead and use one more here, and let's do it for the content type, the content meta tag right here. Now we can go ahead and get rid of all of this, and we will just do PHP. We'll use the blog info template tag again, this time with the parameter of HTML type. We'll then give it one of these. Now we also need to set the character set. So we'll give it char set equals PHP blog info once more and char set. Let's go ahead and save this. See if we did that correctly. We'll refresh. And yes, we can see that it set the meta content type to just what we had it to before, but without us having to actually insert it. So we can start to see how template tags work and how they can be extremely useful to us in keeping our theme really dynamic and not having to use any static information, especially when it comes to linking to stuff like your style sheet URL and things of that nature. And we are going to dive into a lot more of that tomorrow. So if you're looking for some resources or extra homework, if you're following along, if you go to wordpress.org, you might wonder how we know all the parameters and template tags. And the easy answer is just to check out the docs. And it's kind of just one of those things that you learn as you go along, and you learn about new template tags that you can use and which ones will work for you in certain situations. So if we go to wordpress.org and click docs, and we scroll down, I think it is under design and layout. Yes. Okay, under design and layout, you'll find stepping into template tags or template tags. If we click on template tags, we get all kinds of information here and a huge list and resources of all of the available template tags. And you'll see right here under general tags, blog info is one that we'll use quite frequently, as it's pretty helpful for figuring out information about our blog and pulling out certain information as we've shown today. So just to recap what we've done today, to go back over it, template tags are nothing more than PHP functions set up by WordPress that accept certain parameters depending on the information you need. So for example, in our title tags, we used blog info. We passed it a parameter of name, telling it to grab the name of our blog, and we're putting it in between title tags to display the title of our blog. We did the same thing for our content type on our meta tags. And we also used it to help us figure out where our style sheet and what path our style sheet was located in, so we don't have to keep track of that. We used blog info and with the parameter of style sheet URL. So again, I encourage you to go to WordPress.org, check out the docs, and really do get into template tags and just kind of get in here yourself and try to see which ones you think are going to be really helpful down the road. And tomorrow we will get into actually putting in some content in between here and using what is known as the WordPress loop for day 4. So you want to stay tuned for that. If you're enjoying these articles, you can always subscribe, or these screencasts, excuse me, you can always subscribe to our RSS feed. And that will be it for now. You can go back to themeforest.net or the Doug fan site if that's what you're into. So that'll do it for day 3. Stay tuned for day 4 tomorrow when we're working with the WordPress loop, and have a great day.